So we'll talk about basal ganglia. Till now, in motor system, we have talked about the voluntary control, right? Execution kaise hota, we have seen from the primary motor cortex to the pyramidal tracts comes down to the spinal cord. We've also seen what are the segmental reflexes in the spinal cord, and in some abnormal situations, in some forms of brain lesions or examples being strokes, different levels पे the activities is the effects are different. If a lesion is at the level of the pons, usually the stroke presents like a decerebrate posturing, right? And if it is higher up, so we get decorticate posturing. So we've seen all of this in the last classes. We've also seen postural reflexes, those reflexes which help us to maintain erect posture when there is sudden some type of change in our posture, right? Like you would see here also. Nahin. So basal ganglia is a network of structures which help us to fine tune our motor activities, right? Refining our motor activities, and they play a very important role in planning also. So there are two broad reasons why we should study. One of the very critical structures associated with planning the movement, and then execution mein the role is not direct but it facilitates or makes the movements smoother, helps us to scale the intensity. Depending on the situation, what should be the scale of the movement, intensity of the movement. So all this is done by the basal ganglia. We'll talk about the circuits, and then towards the end we'll talk about the basis of Parkinsonism, the disease which affects the basal ganglia. Now it is a network of grey masses, as you can see. Base or core of the white matter of the cerebral hemispheres, you have a network of structures like this. So these are grey matter within the core of the each of the cerebral hemispheres, and you can actually see lot of individual nuclei. So basal ganglia, that is why it is not a single structure, it is a collection of different nuclei functionally related to perform a same function. So caudate nucleus over here, right, and putamen over here, right, and in between what you see is the internal capsule. This is a strip of white matter separating the two nucleus, caudate nucleus and the putamen, right. Together they are called as the striatum. Now they get the name striatum because of the striated appearance. Second, globus pallidus is one more important structure which is called as the paleostriatum, meaning in evolutionary point of view it was a very old structure to develop. And putamen and globus pallidus together they are called as lentiform nucleus. So globus pallidus was this, right, this particular part. So here you can again see globus pallidus has got two parts, globus pallidus externus, the external segment, and globus pallidus internus, the internal segment. Together along with the putamen they are called as the lentiform nucleus. So broadly you have, you can actually tell it as basal ganglia consists of a caudate nucleus and a lentiform nucleus, right. In addition, on either side of the hypothalamus you have the subthalamic nuclei. So location wise if you see, this is the thalamus, thalamus ke niche this is the subthalamus on either side of the hypothalamus. Now in the thalamus you have lot of nuclei, right. Thalamus there will be separate class, right, towards the end of this unit. Basal ganglia के context में these two nuclei are important, ventral anterior and ventral lateral, which is present around the lateral aspects of the thalamus, right. Okay, what else should you know? There is one more structure in the midbrain. So this structure is called as substantia nigra. Now the Niagara word means black, right, and it gets its name from the pigment which is present. So substantia nigra has got two parts, pars compacta and pars reticularis, and 75% of the neurons of pars compacta are dopaminergic, right, and 25% are cholinergic. So if you look at it carefully, this is the location of substantia nigra, midbrain structure. Now here what they have is the precursor of dopamine, So dopaminergic neurons, the precursor is melanin. So this is where it gets its name. The black color comes from the presence of melanin, which is the precursor of dopamine. Pars reticularis has inhibitory neurons secreting GABA. Now, important here in basal ganglia is, you should know at the beginning that there are reciprocal connections. Starting from the cortex, they reach the basal ganglion, again they finally relate to the cerebral cortex. So there is a reciprocal connection, a closed loop between the cortex, basal ganglia and the cortex again. So structural aspects we have completed. Now we'll move to what are the different structures, circuits that are there. So from the cortex, the first set of, now this circuit is actually a very complicated circuit. So we try to break it down to individual units and fibers. So first set of projections that you need to know is corticostriatal projections. As the name tells you, it is from the cerebral cortex to the striatum, right? Striatum कौन से structure से बना था? Which structures form the striatum? Caudate nucleus and putamen, right? So fibers arising from the cortex projecting to the striatum. Now from all regions of the cortex except for primary visual cortex and primary auditory cortex, the fibers from all these areas reach the striatum, right? And from which layer of the cortex? It is from layer 5. So there are 6 layers. So from the layer 5, this fibers project. So in this fibers, so I have said that from all the areas of the cortex. So this areas will cover both precentral areas, the areas anterior to the precentral gyrus, and posterior areas also. Precentral areas where you have premotor, supplementary motor and primary motor areas. Postcentral gyrus is the sensory areas, somatosensory areas. Have a look in this diagram. So this is the central sulcus, and here you have the primary motor cortex, which is just anterior to the central sulcus, area number 4. Now if you take a section here to just anterior to the primary motor cortex, area number 4, this particular gyrus, on the lateral aspect we have the premotor area, and on the medial aspect, midline ke around, we have the supplementary motor areas, right? And both these areas are involved in the planning part, right? Supplementary motor area is strictly concerned with planning. Premotor area, planning, and as well as it enables the body to have a certain posture before the movement starts. I give you the example of climbing, trekking. So ऐसे कोई भी activities हो where a specific posture is needed before the movement starts, premotor area is the one which is doing it. So, and all these fibers, right, mind you, these are excitatory fibers, releasing or secreting glutamate, right. So this has come to the striatum. Now from the striatum के जो output projections है, ये fibers है, they will eventually reach the thalamus. So it started with the cortex, striatum, and then it will go to the thalamus. Here we have 2 sets of pathways. One direct pathway which is excitatory or facilitatory, and one indirect pathway which is inhibitory, right. So this is all in the striatum, right. And thalamic neurons, इनका जो inherent activity है, they will excite the neurons of the cerebral cortex. You again have neurons secreting glutamic acid, so excitatory projections to the thalamus. तो thalamus के जो nuclei है, anterior and ventrolateral nuclei, if they are left as such, they will excite the cortex, right. If the thalamic nuclei are excited, they will further excite the cerebral cortex, motor areas of the cortex. And if the thalamic nuclei are inhibited, so their excitation will be gone, right. So cortex में जो thalamus का facilitation effect था, so that will be lost. So this is like the very basic structure of the circuit. Before we enter the finer details of the circuit. So you have a cortex, striatum and thalamus. So this part you have one direct pathway and one indirect pathway. Now here, till now, substantia nigra has not come into the picture. But as I said at the beginning, this is also a very important part of the basal ganglia network. So pars compacta of the substantia nigra, which is in short form it is also referred to as SNPC. Now this midbrain structure, it influences the activity of the direct as well as the indirect pathway. If you see it, fibers from the substantia nigra, eventually what they do is they increase the activity of the direct pathway and they inhibit the activity of the indirect pathway. So if I ask you, direct pathway was excitatory, I just mentioned. So direct pathway will increase the excitation of the thalamus. So thalamus का जो अपना facilitatory effect है cortex पे, it will enhance the activity of the cortex at the end, right? This is what happens. Indirect pathway would normally inhibit the thalamus. So thalamus का जो excitatory या facilitatory influence है, that will be lost if indirect pathway is left as such. But substantia nigra inhibits the indirect pathway, right? So that means overall जो effect है, that is once the indirect pathway is inhibited by substantia nigra, thalamus escapes from its inhibitory effect. So thalamus can again facilitate the motor cortex. So the net effect of the basal ganglia is, overall effect is a facilitation, enhancement or smoothening of motor activities, and this happens at the level of planning rather than execution. So all of this facilitation planning level पे उसका ज़्यादा असर है. Right? Now this is the very complicated circuit, the actual circuit which is present in the basal ganglia. So we'll try to understand all the points which we just discussed. So cortical motor areas you can see, and there it projects to the striatum, that is caudate nucleus and putamen. And here, as we said, there is a direct and the indirect pathway, right? Now, before we start, you just remember the neurons in the striatum, they have very less intrinsic activity of their own. They require the influence or projections from the cortex to come and excite them, right? This is one point. Second point is globus pallidus internus, GPI, right? So this nucleus has got its own high level of background activity, right? So left as such, what is the ultimate effect? Globus pallidus internus will eventually, it is a GABA secreting fiber. The outputs of globus pallidus internus, it is secretes GABA. So globus pallidus internus will eventually inhibit thalamus, right? The nuclei of the thalamus. Thalamus अगर inhibited होता है, so what will happen is thalamus का जो facilitatory effect है, that will be lost. So remember, this has got a high level of background activity of its own, right? Striatum does not have this type of intrinsic background activity. So from the cortex, excitatory fibers reach the striatum. So I'm talking of the direct pathway now. And from here, what is happening? Striatal fibers, they are inhibiting globus pallidus internus. तो ये एक inhibitory nucleus है, inhibitory structure है. This is inhibited by the direct pathway. So striatal fibers inhibit globus pallidus internus. तो इसका जो अपना inhibitory effect है, that is gone now, right? It is over. Now thalamus can excite the cortical motor areas. So this is the direct pathway. So clearly the activity which is starting in the cortex, through this loop, it is reinforcing or enhancing its own activity, right? So remember, we are not talking only of the primary motor cortex here. We are also talking of the other areas जो planning में participate करते हैं, planning and programming में, right? And neurons in the basal ganglia actually, they start showing activity or signals before the movements happen. So that all of this is actually in the planning phase which is going on. So this is the direct pathway that we just discussed, right? So You can actually all draw this pathway and again just repeat with me. So you can see cortical motor fibers exciting the striatum. Striatum in turn inhibits globus pallidus internus. Globus pallidus internus normally inhibits the thalamus. So when this is inhibited, the thalamus escapes inhibition, and thalamus in the feedback loop now it excites the cortical motor radius again. Now from the cortical motor radius, तो planning में हमने समझ लिया कि this is all happening in the planning phase. The cortical motor radius will also have their effects. जो final output effects हैं, they also affect, as you can see, spinal cord में and brain stem में. It is mainly the medial descending pathways, right, which are concerned with regulation of tone, medial pathways. So they are affected mainly, right, execution wise. So this part of the loop is for planning. Output, it is mostly direct influence on the tone regulating medial pathways, and of course plan अगर effect हो रहा है या modify हो रहा है तो उसका execution will also get modified. So both these effects are there. Okay. Now what about the indirect pathway? Let us discuss. So indirect pathway में actually you start from this particular area, right? So cortical motor fibers or cortical projections, they excite the caudate nucleus and putamen. Caudate nucleus and putamen normally then this inhibits the globus pallidus externus, right? So globus pallidus externus, once it is inhibited, this can no longer inhibit the subthalamic nucleus. Subthalamic nucleus is an excitatory nucleus which excites the globus pallidus internus. So this is the area you should start from while explaining the indirect pathway. Subthalamic nucleus normally excites globus pallidus internus. Globus pallidus internus actually inhibits the thalamus. So left as such, it will inhibit the or reduce the final activity. Leave right? Now what is happening in practice? So cortical motor fibers, they excite the striatum, right? Striatum inhibits the globus pallidus externus. तो subthalamic nucleus जो actually इसके inhibition में था, that is gone now, right? So subthalamic nucleus can function on its own and it can excite the globus pallidus internus, ultimately inhibiting the cortical activity. So indirect pathway is this. So indirect pathway, it inhibits or reduces the motor activity, right? So this is the two pathways. There are the two pathways of the basal ganglia. Direct pathway increases the overall function and indirect pathway reduces the overall function. Okay. Now what is the role of dopamine in all of this? Dopamine comes from, again we will go to this picture again, substantia nigra pars compacta. Right. So this is, you can see in this picture, neurons from the SNPC. They project both on the direct pathways and indirect pathways. These neurons actually, the difference in the effect is because of the receptors. Direct pathway में जो dopaminergic neurons है, they express D1 receptor. And indirect pathway में जो receptors है, they express D2 receptors. D1 receptors, when they are activated by dopamine, the effect is excitatory. D2 receptor, when dopamine sits on them, the effect is inhibitory. So substantia nigra activates the direct pathway and inhibits the indirect pathway. So this difference, as I said, is because of the receptor. So substantia nigra or SNPC, it does not directly do anything. So dopamine का जो effect है, it is not interfering directly. It is modulating the activities of the remaining circuits. So net effect in either of these two cases is facilitation of the overall activity, right? It will either increase the it is increasing the activity of excitatory pathway or direct pathway. It is inhibiting the indirect pathway, which is normally inhibitory in nature. So final effect is facilitation. Now functions of the basal ganglia, if you consider, the first function is, it is involved in the planning and programming, right? So when I say plan and program, I always mean, so thought say action tak, whatever is happening. So all activities that you do arises from a thought, and thought arises in the association areas of the cerebral cortex. So from thought it is converted to a plan and then executed. So planning may along with basal ganglia, the other important structure which participates is cerebellum, the lateral hemispheres of the cerebellum, right? Second function is direct pathway, we just saw. It is a facilitator of the motor activity. Indirect pathway, individually if you consider, it inhibits, right? So broad scheme of things may, if you like put it in perspective, the indirect pathway has a role in somewhere it breaks or stops movement, stops activity. This is the effect of indirect pathway, putting together in perspective. So if you look at both the direct and indirect pathway together, कि एक facilitate कर रहा है और एक उसको थोड़ा सा break कर रहा है, in between, interrupting or restraining it. So this is actually together, what it finally do is movement में जो intensity required है, so that is controlled. Scaling of the intensity of movement to the required degree. So that is the function of basal ganglia. Scaling तभी possible है when controlling mechanisms में there is a inbuilt facilitatory and inhibitory. दोनों जब है तभी हम लोग उसको अपने हिसाब से activity के हिसाब से we can increase or decrease it. Scaling as required in terms of the intensity of the movements. So this also, basal ganglia also participates in smooth transition from one motor program to another. So again, a role in planning. This also allows us to, while focus on the voluntary activity that we are doing, right, while preventing any change in the background posture. So whatever activity we are doing, we can focus on that, right? So this is also one type of scaling. Background activity ko hata ke we can just focus on the task at hand. And because its projections also go to the spinal cord, the medial descending systems on the spinal cord, basal ganglia also contributes to control of tone, muscle tone. So these are the functions of basal ganglia. Now, till now what we talked about is only one circuit of the basal ganglia. Major circuit is this. This circuit is called as the skeletomotor circuit. The name say you can understand it is concerned with movements, right? Now, skeletomotor circuit is concerned with the movements, and इसी में there is a direct and indirect pathway. Basal ganglia also has some other circuits, right? The first circuit is, other one is oculomotor circuit. So this arises from the frontal eye fields. The frontal lobe of the brain में you have one dedicated area for eye movements, right? This is called as the frontal eye field. And from here there are some fibers which project to the network of the basal ganglia. So function of this particular circuit is controlling of saccadic eye movements. Now what is a saccadic eye movement? Day-to-day life में the area that we see when our gaze is fixed on a certain thing, so that is called as the field of vision. Without moving our eyes, we focus our gaze on a certain object. उस situation में whatever we can see around, field of, that is the field of vision. Now if there is one second or a third object in our visual field, what happens? Immediately our gaze fixes to that second or the third object, right? A very rapid movement. So this type of movements are called as saccadic eye movements. So these are rapid ballistic movements, right, which change the point of fixation in the visual field. So abhi agar idhar hai, immediately you can look, without moving the head you can look, your gaze can fix at some other object. What do I mean when I say the word ballistic movement? Ballistic movement is one type of movement which once started cannot be interrupted in between till it finishes, right? So examples what are the examples? So one example that I have seen in like people of your age, there is constantly you are typing. You cannot control your hands, rollers typing till you are finishing the sentence. You keep on typing, right? You cannot have no control, right? And sentence also, like a sentence which has got no grammar and spellings, short forms में. One more better example, right? So if you see a boxing match, right? So whenever a boxer launches a punch or a blow, in between he or she cannot interrupt, right? It will either hit the opponent or it will miss the target, right? If the opponent is fast enough, target will be missed, but the hand will go there जहाँ पे था target शुरू हुआ था. तो execution के time पे plan में जैसा था, it will happen like that. In between, you cannot do anything about it. So this type of movements are called as ballistic movements. So saccadic movements are also examples of ballistic movements happening in the eyes. Right? We'll talk of ballistic movements again in cerebellum. You can see the speed, 800 degrees per second. This is the velocity of the eye. Okay. The second circuit is dorsolateral prefrontal circuit. So this circuit is concerned with motor planning required for appropriate behavioral responses to cognitive tasks. Cognition में now, cognition से what do you mean is higher forms of intelligence, reasoning, logic, thinking, abstract thinking, all of this. So there is a circuit, why the dorsolateral prefrontal circuit? So this part of the brain, right? Prefrontal lobe में there is a dorsolateral part and a medial part. So this part of the brain is concerned with decision making of our day-to-day life, and also one more, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex is also the site of the brain which gives us our identity. Who am I? If you ask yourself, do you have an answer? कि मैं कौन हूँ? Right? So whatever is your answer, right? Your sense of identity comes from this part of the brain. तो behavioral point of view से appropriate behavioral responses to cognitive tasks, this part of the brain is responsible for giving us that. So now we understand that basal ganglia also has an important role in cognition, right? So what functions we discussed here, these are all motor functions. But apart from this, so two additional things that you see here, basal ganglia has a role in saccadic eye movements. Basal ganglia also has a role in cognition, right? Lateral orbitofrontal circuit. So OFC is one more area of the brain which participates in decision making. So this is responsible for mediating socially appropriate responses, right? So emotional expression, it's very important, right? Emotions are there, but how you express it, so there is a role of this circuit here. And the last circuit that you see is the anterior cingulate circuit. Cingulate gyrus is a structure on the medial aspects of the cerebral hemispheres. So this circuit projections from the cingulate gyrus to the basal ganglia helps us in procedural learning, right? So you should know the name and functions of the circuits. Details, so at first year you do not need the details of the other circuits, but this one is a must, all of you should know. This circuit is the skeletomotor circuit. Movement को जो control कर रहा है, right? This all of you have to know. A very common question in exams, direct and indirect part you have to know in details and explain in details. Function के लिए you should know the other ones. These are the motor functions, and these are some additional functions of the basal ganglia which are attributed to different smaller sub-circuits existing in the basal ganglia network. तो motor function में इसका role है. It is also, as I said, responsible for controlling saccadic eye movements, cognition, right, emotional expression to a certain extent, and in procedural learning of motor procedures. Moving on to Parkinson's disease, right? So Parkinson's disease is also called as paralysis agitans, and there are two closely related words. Parkinson's disease is the disease which happens because of a aging process, right? Why it happens, the cause is not known, idiopathic. But in some individuals, aging के साथ the loss of dopaminergic neurons and receptors is faster, right? And why, as I said, why this happens in certain individuals, that is not known. Parkinsonism is a broad word. Parkinsonism can be caused by Parkinson disease and all other situations or like factors which produces similar type of features, clinical features. Examples being certain viral infections, drugs like phenothiazines, and even experimental exposure to certain drugs like MPTP. Right? What is MPTP? Methylphenyl tetrahydropyridine. So all of this also produces the similar type of clinical feature. Parkinson में classically there is a triad of tremor, rigidity, and bradykinesia. So there are three important words: tremor, rigidity, and bradykinesia. Triad of all of these three is what is the basic feature of Parkinsonism. Now, why this happens? So, when there is a degeneration of the neurons of SNPC, substantia nigra pars compacta, you remember, try to recall what was the function. Substantia nigra pars compacta से जो dopamine secreting neurons थे, which were going to the striatum, D1 receptor say it was increasing the function of direct pathway, and D2 receptor say it was inhibiting the function of indirect pathway. So now in the absence of this, there is diminished activity of the direct pathway and increased activity of the indirect pathway, right? So what happens? जो facilitatory pathway था उसकी activity कम हो गया, right? So there will be some slowness, and on top of this, जो inhibitory pathway था, indirect pathway था, right? That has become more now. So that is no more inhibited. So increased activity of the inhibitory pathway. So this is an additional thing. So both these things together, they lead to a lesser activation of the thalamus and consequently lesser activation of the motor cortical areas, right? So when planning phase में जब motor cortex के जितने भी areas है, activity अगर कम हो जाता है, planning phase में, so what will happen? Initiation of the movement will be difficult. So this is exactly what happens. Difficulty in initiating movement. Somehow if the brain, the motor circuits, somehow if they are able to start a movement, the movement is slowed down. So this is called as akinesia and bradykinesia respectively. So this is what happens. As I was telling, this influence is gone. The neurons from here, they degenerate, and consequently direct pathway becomes diminished, indirect pathway becomes increased. Okay. Now what are the clinical features, other clinical features? Classically तो मैंने बताया कि there is a triad, but apart from this we also have some other things. Akinesia, we already talked about this. Bradykinesia is a slow performance of voluntary movement. Then defective kinetic automatism, right? What does this phrase mean? Kinetic means something to do with movement. Automatism means automatic movements. So can you give me some examples of automatic movements? Arm swinging. So when you walk, you usually have a tendency of swinging your arms, right? Any more automatic movement? Blinking, yes, correct. Facial expressions, right? Facial expressions are automatic. Change in the status of the contraction or relaxation of the facial muscles, usually we do not do it consciously. So it is an automatic thing that happens. So all this type of kinetic automatism that is reduced. So what you have is reduced arm swinging, right? Facial expressions and gestures are less. So the person appears emotionless, and hence the word masked facies is used to describe the facial appearance of a patient of Parkinsonism, right? And the gait that you see is this type of gait. They will always walk with a stoop posture, right? From here it is a stoop posture, as if he or she is always trying to hold their center of gravity. The gait is smaller, right? Ground clearance is lesser. So the gait is, the distance between the steps is smaller. So this type of gait is called as fascinating gait. So the posture is like this, arm swinging is reduced, and the person keeps on walking like this, right? Fascinating gait. And along with this, as I said, in the same patient we will also find masked facies. Additionally, some other features like simultaneous actions. So if you give two tasks, right? So example that I got from a book is this: if a person is sitting and you ask him to do any movement like saluting, he can do, right? But if you ask him to do the same thing while walking, now there are two movements that he used to do. He has to walk and also do this movement. So now there is a problem, he or she cannot perform this. So simultaneous actions cannot be executed. Sequential actions, if you think of some compound motor activity, जिसमें बहुत सारे steps हैं, so there will be a interruption of somewhere in the between, he or she might get stuck. So sequential activity, again there is an inability to do sequential activity, right? Simultaneous and sequential, दोनों type of execution gets affected. The other feature, outstanding feature, is rigidity that we talked. What happens here? Rigidity, this is an example of hypertonia. Now this hypertonia is because of alpha motor neuron hyperactivity. So pyramidal tract lesions में जो hypertonia हुआ था, that was because of gamma motor neuron hyperactivity and described as spasticity. This is purely one form of rigidity. So the main difference is alpha activity is more, and usually they are present in the form of cogwheel rigidity. What is the cogwheel? If you remember, jerky. So throughout the course of movement, there is a hypertonia and a release, again a hypertonia, release, again hypertonia. All these things happen, right? Jerky, as if the catches in between, but throughout the course of the movement, this happens. Clinical lab will also show you how to examine for cogwheel rigidity. So here in both the agonist and antagonist group of muscles at a joint, both these muscles have hypertonia. This is what actually causes rigidity. So flexion and extension दोनों affected है. So that's why you stretch or don't stretch, it will not make a difference. So that's why this is also present at rest. Even before you attempt any movements, movement के दौरान one particular muscle will shorten, the opposing muscle will lengthen, stretching will be there. तो अगर ये गामा मोटर न्यूरॉन mediated होता तो stretching में one particular group would have been affected. But here, as you can see, both the groups are having hypertonia. So stretching and all will not make any difference in this particular picture. So in both flexion and extension, this can be experienced. Now what is the cause of this rigidity in Parkinsonism? Now what normally happens is, if you remember, globus pallidus internus का जो effect है वो inhibitory है, right? And it actually influences the activity of the midbrain and pontine reticular formation, right? So eventually what happens is, जो Golgi tendon reflex है, it is actually facilitating that Golgi tendon reflex. Parkinson's disease में there is an increased inhibitory output, right? Normal cases में globus pallidus it is inhibited by the other structures. Striatum is inhibiting the globus pallidus, normal cases में. But here because striatum and substantia nigra दोनों, striatum is reinforced from substantia nigra, तो substantia nigra effect होने की वजह से striatal activity is less. Striatal activity, because it is less, globus pallidus cannot be inhibited now, right? Inhibit the GPI. So its own inhibitory effect is enhanced or accentuated. So there is increased inhibitory output here, right? And reduced facilitatory influence from the midbrain and the brainstem structures. So finally what happens is Golgi tendon reflex पे जो एक facilitatory effect था, that is gone. So this is proposed to be the cause of rigidity. Remember, Golgi tendon reflex का function क्या था? It will, when the tone is increased, it will cause a sudden release, right? जब भी tone increase ज़्यादा होगा, it will cause a relaxation of that particular muscle, reducing muscle tone. So if the activity of this reflex is gone, reduced, so the tone will keep on increasing, right? So this is what will eventually lead to rigidity. So there is nothing to oppose or inhibit the stretch reflex. Tremor. The other function or feature, clinical feature is tremor. What is the cause of this tremor and how is it very unique? The tremors of basal ganglia disorders, right? The Parkinson's, for example, is resting tremor, meaning when the person or the body part is at rest, there are tremors which appear. And whenever there is movement, the tremors disappear. This is very unique for basal ganglia lesions. Resting tremor, which is suppressed by voluntary movements, right? And of course, during sleep also it will disappear. And these tremors are enhanced, they become aggravated during states of anxiety. Frequency wise, it is a very fine tremor. You can say 3 to 6 Hz frequency. So fine tremor. And usually the word that is used to describe is pill rolling type of tremor. Pill rolling comes from the word elders, like your grandparents, many of us have the habit of counting names. You keep on mala japna jise kehte hain, right? So this movement tremor appears like this. So that is why the name pill rolling type of tremor. The cause of this tremor is again a very unique thing now. So thalamic neurons, it is proposed that there is some form of pacemaker neurons in the thalamus. So normally it is inhibited by the influences of the globus pallidus, right? So when the globus pallidus itself is inhibited, inhibitory input from the globus pallidus normally what happens is it is suppressed, it is kept in check. So in a state where SNPC is gone, striatum is gone, so inhibitory inputs from the globus pallidus now take a upper hand and they unmask the thalamic pacemaker activity. So thalamus का जो final relay है, it is in the cortex. So when pacemaker activity of the thalamus is unmasked, so it will cause some type of oscillation in the motor circuits. This will eventually manifest in the form of tremors. So cause of this tremor is, as I said, unmasking of the thalamic pacemaker activity because of inhibitory input from the globus pallidus, resulting in oscillations in the motor activities. So this is how a patient of Parkinsonism will present, right? We discussed not only the symptoms, but I also tried to give you an idea of the basis behind these symptoms. So now what is the treatment? So cause of the disease was degeneration of dopaminergic neurons. And in most cases, Parkinson disease, as I said at the beginning also, it is a age-related disease. So you cannot arrest, right? You cannot reverse aging, right? You cannot stop aging, it will keep on going. But at some amount of decline is expected. Parkinson's disease happens when the decline in dopaminergic neurons is more than expected. So we can give some form of dopamine replacement, right, from outside in the form of tablets, right. Directly dopamine is usually not given because it is not able to cross the blood-brain barrier and reach a significant level of bioavailability in the target tissue that we require. Brain tissue ke around levels do not reach. So what we usually give is a precursor of dopamine, levodopa, right? So when levodopa is given, it can cross the blood-brain barrier, and there, by the action of decarboxylase, it can convert to dopamine. Significant levels of dopamine can be maintained in the brain tissue where the action is needed, right? Receptors to hai hi, so it can exert its action now. This is one. Second, you can give some anticholinergics, right? Because now what is the reason? Striatum में जो neurons है, they're actually cholinergic neurons, and these D1, D2 receptors, they are present in the dendritic spines of these cholinergic neurons, right? So that's why anticholinergics can also be given. And in case nothing works, no medicine works, so there are surgical options like surgical ablation of the globus pallidus, pallidectomy, that is an option, or in some cases subthalamus. So this is for those conditions only where medicines are not working, right? And these are not easy procedures, as writing all of this is very easy, but it's a very complicated thing to do. All right. So we'll stop here. Next class we'll talk about some of the other movement disorders associated with basal ganglia, and we'll talk about, if time permits, we'll start with the activity of cerebellum. All right. Thank you.